regular meeting for December 15th. Call the meeting to order and stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, right. Okay, so as we always start our meeting with public audience, do we have anyone here for public audience? Oh, yes.
Joan Code 26 Wisdom Drive. On December 1st, 2025, at the Board of Selectmen meeting, after the swearing in of the elected officials, First Selectman Wendy Bextusis was completely unhinged in discussing her role in creating a lack of transparency and violation of First Amendment rights when conducting a meeting. First Selectman Wendy Bextusis tried to limit who, what, and when the public can address the board in violation of the democratic process. Selectman Beal, a Republican with minority representation, was concerned that First Selectman Wendy Bextusis was holding secret meetings, a caucus, with most Democrats prior to meetings to reach a consensus of agenda items, limiting discussion of policy actions that affect all of us. As a control freak, First Selectman Wendy Bextusis has predetermined what all the votes would be on the motions. The requirements for public hearings before the board are a sham, since the votes were predetermined and all public dialogue is window dressing for a failed democratic process. Despite all this dialogue, the Board of Selectmen had discussion on the salary of the first selectman with a determination that the salary should be increased from $10,000 to $15,000 when all other towns with town managers do not receive a salary. This is a frivolous use of taxpayer dollars when budgets are increased year after year. On December 10th, 2025, the Board of Finance had a hearing on the appropriation of an additional $388,000 for the shortfall in the Performing Arts 3,000 square foot The Next Act project. The cost of the referendum is $10,000. In May 2024, the Simsbury Performing Arts Center Bandshell Expansion Next Act project was approved at referendum for a total value of $2,782,881, which was funded by a $900,000 in state grants, a $1,232,881 in donations, and $850,000 in capital reserve funds. Current project costs, including design, administration, construction, and known changes orders, are $2,779,000, leaving contingency balance of only $3,362,000. Staff does not recommend moving forward with a project without sufficient contingency to account for unforeseen conditions that may arise during the construction process. Therefore, staff is requesting an additional $388,000 in funding to adequately move forward with the project. This dollar value also allows items to be added back to the project that have previously been value engineered out. At the Board of Selectmen meeting, a supplemental appropriation of $388,000 was approved for recommendation to the Board of Finance. The Simsbury Performing Arts raised $1,032,881 in donations, stated that they would pay for all the additional costs. $100,000 of the donated money was transferred to a different project. This project is being built without thorough vetting and with additional costs at taxpayers' expense due to the failure of Simsbury Performing Arts to live up to their agreement. The town has the agreement with a private organization to build 3,000 square foot building for the sole use of the performing arts at taxpayers' expense with an open checkbook. This is voodoo economics. Both the Board of Selectmen and Board of Finance are being bamboozled into the performing arts mantra that is beneficial to the community, where most of the tickets for the concerts is sold to people out of town, leaving Simsbury taxpayers with the cost and increased traffic. This building appears to be solely for the performing arts organization to meet, greet, and be merry at taxpayer expense. There is a saying, you can fool all of the people some of the time and some of the people all of the time, but you cannot fool all of the people all of the time. The Simsbury elected should wake up to the Simsbury Performing Arts folly and vote no on the referendum vote I am sharing the link to the Board of Finance meeting of December 10th, where there is intense discussion on the projected cost of the building. It is time for the taxpayers to vote no confidence in our elected officials by rejecting the referendum and stop work on the proposed project until the private special interest organization raises the money to complete the project for their use. Simsbury Performing Arts can replace the failed project with trailers that have been used in the past. All of my comments will be posted on Simsbury Patch and Twitter at Joan Co. Thank you.
Is there anyone else here for public audience? Okay.
Lori Boyko, I don't have a prepared speech, but I do want to say that on this day, December 15th, 1791, the First Amendment to the Constitution was ratified in the Bill of Rights as written by James Madison. That amendment was specifically written to protect the rights of the people against a tyrannical government should they want to shut down what the people want to say. I nearly had a stroke watching the last Selectmen meeting and the discussion about what decorum is. Your rules of decorum are to be set for you, the board, not for the public. What the public can say and how they can say it has been adjudicated for literally centuries at this point. And if that's not good enough for you, then Joan took this Board of Selectmen and the town of Simsbury to federal court in 1990. And to remind everyone, the resolution of the negotiated settlement for that remains on the wall. And in that resolution, it states that that resolution is to be attached to the board's rules of decorum as filed in the town of Selectmen, in the town clerk's office. Listening to you all try and shut down what the people have to say, or how they're gonna say it, or frankly, who can say it, because the resolution also says the public, it doesn't say the residents or the electors or the people over 18 or under 18, or the people that the Board of Selectmen think are good enough to stand up here and get dispensation. It says the public, and there's a reason for that. And I suggest you all go back and study some history and some civics, because each and every one of you took an oath of office the night you were sworn into this position to do your job according to the law. And within hours of being sworn in, you decided to attempt to shred that law. And I've about had enough, because I don't know who the hell you all think you are. But you are supposed to represent the people. You're not supposed to sit up there on your throne and make rules for us. That is not what your job is. So I suggest y'all go back, and I don't know why they don't teach that in MPA class.
Thank you, Lori. Is there anyone else here for public audience? Okay, so I'd like to make a couple of suggestions for the consent agenda. I only have two items that I was going to propose. Was item H, which is the tax refunds, and then the appointments and resignations on A. If somebody, I'll make the motion for the consent agenda to move action item H and appointments A. If somebody,
Second.
is there any discussion or changes to that? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so that, everybody's good with that. So now we have the website presentation. This was in our last budget, and when did we end up funding it? With year end last year, Tom?
Mid-year transfer.
Okay,
We
because it
tried
was
year-end.
rejected last year, or,
Do you have an adjustment to the agenda? Do we need to add an existing?
yeah, I do. I was gonna wait, but I could do it now, thank you. You think I'll forget?
I just don't wanna pass the 2-hour mark. I don't know how long the presentation is.
Better not
Not
be
that
2
long,
hours.
Kevin. Definitely not that long.
Okay, so let's update the agenda. So first of all, I need to ask for a motion to move item I, which is on the Board of Ed contract, up to B. So that would be item B. I'm not gonna renumber all of them, Tom's gonna do that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And then we need to add an executive session pursuant to CGS 1-206B for the purpose of discussing pending litigation. And then if we come out of that, we would add the proposed settlement of a pending heart and hypertension claim as an action item after that.
So moved.
Any discussion on that? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. So now we're moving, Tom is here, we don't have Rick present or Brett to present this, and Tom is going to be our website guy today.
Yes.
Acting website? You did double acting?
Interim.
Acting IT director and
So thank you. So quick kind of background on the website, as Wendy mentioned, we had gone through the kind of the process and eventually landed as a transfer request to update the website. It had been a number of years since it was updated. Rick had gone through and gotten a couple quotes from various websites. We ended up going with Civic Plus, who operated our old website, which you'll see. So you'll see our old website up here. We had a couple meetings internally. We created a small group for kind of a design, polling different people from different departments. And then that spun off into adding a few more people from a meeting. And then really Civic Plus took it from there and started migrating all the data over. That happened and it's kind of hit a completion where we can show off a beta version at the end of November. And we are excited we will put a link right on the big website right here in the scroller for the public to come and view the beta website. And they are going to be testing it for us. There's a big banner on the new website, which I will just unveil. I know you're all waiting. So our new website up on the screen now. We have a couple of things to note from here is first, this is our beta website, you'll know right here. And then, sorry, gotta sign out. Sorry. So you'll note everyone will access a link from on the current website to the new website, and there's a big banner here to let you know it is a beta website. And we cannot stress that enough at the moment right now. Members of the public can click on here and there is a form. If you find something that is wrong or needs fixing, maybe this link to the beta form, the IT department is constantly receiving those to then go in and work with the developer to fix it. So that form will take you there, I promise you it works. A couple things to note. Our town calendar is now more prominent in a larger spot on the website. The old one, as you can see here, is tucked away in this bottom corner and kind of gets lost in the page. And we've heard from residents, we've heard from people that I can't find what meeting is happening, I can't find an event. We are able to distinguish between a meeting and an event. And so that will get populated on when people add an agenda to a date. And then our news and announcements will come here. You can see our Christmas tree collection has been added. So staff is currently working on maintaining 2 versions of the website at the moment to keep the beta as up to date as we can for residents when they come and see it. It should be important to note though, until the final launch date, we are updating the agenda and minutes module, but you should rely on the old website or the current website for those to be up to date at the moment. We have noticed a small bug with some of our agendas, so we are constantly working with our developer on that part. But while we talk about the agendas and minutes, so it works similar to the current one where you have your drop-down boxes. We're looking at kind of cleaning some of these up as well. This was pulled over from the old ones. So if you see one that you think should kind of be pulled down, please, again, that form, let us know. But in this agenda module, one of my favorite settings is actually you go into the agenda and boards module and you can pick any boarding commission in here. So you can filter it to just Board of Selectmen and hit search, and just the Board of Selectmen meeting agenda and minutes will pop up. And now my favorite feature, actually I brought a laser pointer. So right here is a media button. We'll be able to directly link to the SCM YouTube video on their website. So you will click that link and it'll tell you you're leaving, and you will pop right to the SCTV page. So staff will be notified to make sure if there is an SCM recording, please link that in when uploading the agenda or the minutes. That way the public has access. They don't have to go scrolling a bunch of pages. They can just get right to the video. One of the things that we have heard.
Can I ask you a question while you're on the page, is for like,
Okay.
so if we're looking at that, and if I wanted to find something on, you know, like the PAC, and I wanna from I need something more specific, if somebody could give me something from like 2024, but I don't know where it is. How is the search work to go
Yeah.
through those agendas? Are you gonna
So-
demo that later and I won't ask?
We can test out. I haven't done that part yet.
Cause that's,
So one thing on the is we had heard from the public. I'll get to that one, yeah.
okay, no rush, no, I just
Sorry.
wanted it out there while we were here.
We had heard about the website kind of having out of date information and it kind of gets lost and not everything being up there.
Mhm.
So through the town manager's office, our directive to staff will be to kind of maintain the website actively. They'll be encouraged to take down the old meeting calendar and put up the new one at the new year instead of just having the long list. We don't need the 2023 regular meeting schedule on the side of the webpage anymore. That can come down. You just need the 2026 when we're in 2026. And then Rick has been working to create the employee web group. That'll be an important part of the IT department moving forward to actively kind of review. Departments have their own kind of liaison or employee to that group, and they will be tasked with actively reviewing the website and their department webpage. So that way, that'll help there. Some things that the residents will notice is an easier to find content. The goal from Civic Plus has been 2 clicks or less for residents. And then I hit on the much larger calendar, but better search capabilities, so they have their predictive search built in. So we can go to that in a second. The ADA compliance feature is currently being loaded in at the moment. So that is something that our current website does not have, so that's the audio eye feature, so we're very excited for that part. And then on the back end for staff wise, we have a what you see is what you get editor, which the current website does not have. So when you're in there editing the current website, just kind of looks like a different page. You don't really know how it's gonna look, and then you gotta kind of try and error it. This one has, while you're actively in the page, live edit mode, so it should make it cleaner and easier to make the edits as we go. Improved Google Analytics for that employee web group to make sure that they can kind of see what is the most kind of visited pages and make sure that those ones are also up to date and clean. And then we have a bunch of modules that we can be kind of constantly loading in and improving the information that is on the website. So Wendy, we can test your search feature question here. So again, this is predated back to kind of mid-November is when Civic Plus pulled all the old data over. Anything since then, we'll have to kind of upload our kind of on the staff end, but we are working on that.
And you said it's a originally it's a 10-year archive that's here.
That is what we worked off of. Yep. So if you wanted one,
I'm trying to think of something specific from a few years
we
ago.
did the Latimer supplemental appropriation in the referendum was in January. No, you don't have to watch my spelling, sorry. Alright, supplemental work, so just Latimer. And that didn't work either. Alright, well, we will note that down. So you could then go to the form and put that the Latimer Lane supplemental appropriation did not pull from the search feature, and IT and I will go look at it and make sure it's on there. Like I said, it is currently in the beta. There will be a link on the website, on the main current website right now to get there. Right here in the Simsbury News, we'll send out the e-subscriber. We'll add it to the scrolling picture frame right here as well. So it'll be up on the main page of the website for everyone to see. You'll be able to access a link directly to the new webpage. Our goal is to leave that up until early January. The link will stay active, but then staff and IT and the developer will take all the comment we receive, begin working on it and launching the final link in mid-January. And the user won't notice a difference, they will still go to that simsbury-ct.gov. It's just one page, it'll not look like this. It'll look like this. So I know IT is excited about it, they're still getting their hands on it, and they had their trainings, and the training is slowly being rolled out to staff as well.
I have a few questions.
Yeah, can I just clarify? What is the go live date that you're targeting, mid-January?
Mid-January, I would like to target your first January meeting, which is
January
January
12th.
12th. So that way we could share some good news at the January meeting. I guess that would depend currently on our developer. If they hear back thousands of comments and say you broke this, this, and this, then we'll have to potentially adjust from there. But we want this project done probably almost as much as you do. So that's why we're pushing for that mid-January.
Let me just, I have other questions, but are we feeling like we're on target for when we plan to deliver this?
I think so.
Okay. I'll let Diana ask questions and then I'll open it up to the board for other questions, and then if my questions aren't asked, I'll come back to them.
So I know one of the things that there's two things. One is we wanna make sure that people know how to find contacts and who to contact within departments as well as within boards and commissions, and how to contact the Board of Selectmen, and to make sure that we can get contacted easily if people need to, make sure the tax office can contacted easily. So I wanna make sure that the contacts section is working well, and people aren't like, okay, click this, now I have to click this to click this to click this to finally find the person I need to get to.
So on each
So-
department page and on the board pages, if there's a contact, there on the top right corner, right on the top of the page is the main contact. You can click a button to email them and their phone number listed right away. So that should be, it was previously kind of buried at the bottom of the page in a
Right.
little table. It's right there, right when you open the department.
And does that
page.
include boards and commissions as well?
Should, if they have a
Contact.
Yeah, a contact. So right now the Board of Selectmen has currently Wendy's. We can look to build that out.
But is there a button to like email the Board of Selectmen?
Yep, you still have your contact
Okay.
email us all button. But we can look to add that just right here in that contact loop. That's the staff directory, so this needs to be updated. As you can see, it's a little old. But the staff directory for the board will pull up the directory page as well. But yeah, we can look to add the contact us button right here in the top of the page, so it's not buried at the bottom like it was.
So on the home page, you had a couple of buttons. Are those the most frequently requested sites, cause I'm sure the tax office or even town clerk maybe I see online payments, but I just wanna make sure that the buttons, the quick search buttons are the ones that people frequent most often.
Yeah, they're easy to change as well. So with the improved Google Analytics, we can keep modifying those as we see. If we see a certain page is the most hit page, we could change out, the GIS for say, maybe that's not as common. That can become another most hit page and go there.
Right.
So we can make sure that internally in the web group knows like, hey, keep track of this. Maybe it's a seasonal, so maybe in the winter and the fall is kind of more social services. We can certainly take that into account
Because
and edit those. It should be a live document. It should not sit stagnant for the next 10 years.
I'm gonna just tack on to Diana's, is there a reason that there's only 6 buttons there rather than 12 buttons that are smaller?
That's the website template. So
That
the
can't change, they
developer-
only allow 6,
That is what they allow, yeah.
cause it would be nice to have more than 6. I just think, cause they're so big, is you could have 2 rows of key items instead of that, but
It'll probably change when the mobile device is on there too. And so then the more that you put onto one page, the harder it's gonna look depending on how you're accessing it. So they're probably using a best practice for how much they're gonna put there. And then he pulled down the big menu too, that has 400 million things.
Right.
Which honestly for me, even as much as I go to the website, is always daunting when I click on the how do I thing and now I
Right.
don't know what I wanna do anymore.
Right, that's like a large list.
Yeah, so we can, one of the things we can be tasked with is to potentially slim this down.
yeah. So let's just do a demo. Somebody wants to go to zoning and see who, how to reach out to George or the zoning compliance officer, and also then see who's on the zoning board. Just so we could see that in action. You go to this list is what you're saying?
So same as right now on our website now, under the
Okay,
government tab,
yeah,
the departments are right here in the middle.
Yeah.
You would go down to planning, community development. You would pull up and you have George's name front and center, George's phone number, staff contacts are over here. And then hours of operation, phone number to the department is here.
Board's probably on the left.
Oh, which one?
The board usually, is it on the left, like?
Like you want to link to the planning?
Well, yeah, I would think I would, like, if I go to finance, I think I can get to Board of Finance from the finance page, I'm not sure unless I made that up. But so I'm saying is there on the sidebar, is there the,
So you
the
can, right
zoning?
here, you'd be able to hit the agendas and minutes, and that'll bring you to the agenda minute module. And then you would be able to select planning or zoning from there.
Okay,
That's assuming that people know that zoning is under the planning.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
definitely
Yeah.
not layperson.
Right, that's my concern when people try to utilize the website. Like, we know where to find it, but does the general public
Just
know?
go to zoning. And I do know where it is. but
Right.
we don't-
So a take back would be to, if a department staffs a board, in their webpage link on the left, that column that you saw.
What happens if you go to boards and hit zoning? Does that take you to the same page?
Nope, so that'll,
zoning.
Oh, it should take you to George.
so it'll take you to the zoning commission page.
Which is already outdated.
Yep, it was,
Yeah,
everything
he said it
was
was
over
before
before
the-
Right,
December
right, I know.
first, but so it will be up, so it'll take you to the board. It'll tell you when their meetings are, it'll bring you to, you can go to their agendas and minutes, it'll give you the members of the board. And then a quick overview, which is currently on the board.
Where's the hyperlink to email them? Oh, contact us, is that a hyperlink?
Maybe?
So that'll be the directory in there, so
No? So how do you write the zoning commission with the concern?
scroll down and zoning commission, it'll give you all the people on there, so if you wanted to email.
That is no better than our present website.
Right,
That is a horrible version, no offense.
and how do they know that George is the staff contact for that?
I will take that back to the committee.
Yeah, it's,
I think that
I'm gonna play around and.
the layers, not layers,
That's
but
what
the
we-
staff person assigned to that committee
Yeah.
you should be able to click there and get something sent to both the chairman and the staff person. And the other thing that
That's
should
a good
happen
idea.
is if you give a phone number, I don't know how the phone system is rigged up or set up, but you should have the option, if you call that number and they're unavailable, you should be able to hit 0 or get someone else within that pod to get to.
Department?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, because there's nothing more frustrating than you call and it's just voicemail.
yeah.
And I understand it's gonna happen on Christmas Day. People are on vacation.
Tom will be here.
Which Tom? This Tom or that's?
That's on me, if it's snowing.
It all depends on the weather.
Didn't it snow last
Look
year?
what time it is, gotta
Christmas?
go.
Look that up.
So we are excited for it. These are comments why we are having the beta phase. So we will take that back. I will email the IT and developer tonight about that. And as they come in, we'll start looking through them. But again, we kind of have our looking for a week in January. We're gonna anticipate a bunch of forms submitted and work on things from there.
Can I ask, I'm jumping in here, but when is this going out to the public? And I guess my concern is if the public gets it, we haven't seen it, we're raising some concerns here now. Are they gonna start complaining about the website and then it's gonna cycle around back to us that it's not doing what we thought it was gonna do, or because we haven't really, none of us have looked at it yet. So when
So-
is it opening up to everybody, including
The news-
us?
Yeah, the news and announcements on the website with the link to it will be up tomorrow morning,
Okay.
8:31.
And it explains, and not everybody, most people know what a beta test is it explaining to everybody, like a blurb, this is a test site, we are looking for your feedback, so it's pretty user friendly for anybody that.
Yeah, so the on the old website, we'll have a wording that says, please link to the new one, it's a beta for now. Explaining that we'll use the results to kind of do some touch-ups or fixes or major improvements. And then up here right now, you'll still see that website update that'll say beta website until it goes live. And this will be, so the current urgent alerts that we have are the red banner that you sometimes see across the main page of the website. If we have like a school closure, or not school closure, but like the facilities are closed or we're closed for a holiday, there's just a small red banner that gets moved to the top of the website now in this new format where you kind of have, it'll be on the top of every web page there.
That's the news, you're saying that.
That's the new like urgent alert. It's currently a small red banner across kind of the top third of the website as is, but this will be at the top of every web page.
So if we were putting out the information for the referendum, and let's say there's a public hearing next week, where if I went to the town website to find those things, where would I see them? Would I see them right away is what you're saying?
So yeah, you would still see the news and announcements here on the webpage.
Okay.
And then it holds, and right now we have 3 there, because we haven't really added any into here. But for an item that we wanna not get buried on the bottom of the list here, we can do this urgent alert website update option, which we do currently do on our normal website now if something needs to kind of stay up.
Kind of like when the schools are closed and you go to schools and that box comes up, schools are closed today.
So I'm gonna see if Kevin, you have some comments or questions?
So members of the board and commissions now, I know on the site, there's the little section there too, it's fed from another location, right? Is that gonna be the same case here?
Yeah, so it's fed from a different module. So Trish is currently working on that. And I'll be kind of sitting down with her to make sure it meets what we're looking for. But yeah, it's fed off a module that's in the back end of the website. So
Is it
she
the same
has to,
site that she, or the same service or platform, whatever that she's using for managing?
it should be a new
It's a whole new thing.
new module. She was able to review it before we went with this vendor, so it should work. And so she'll kind of go through there and update it. And then it should feed directly into each web page.
I guess one of the reasons why I'm asking is the number of changes in different places that staff would have to go in order to make a change, or then having it be the old information. Will the clerk be able to update it in one location and then it feeds to those multiple places, or it's still gonna be multiple places?
The board and commission people, it should be updated in one spot and then carried over.
And the agendas and other things that notices of meetings, I think, those initiate some sort of a bulk mail tool that happens now, I think, right?
Yep.
Is that still gonna be the same functionality with this?
It should be.
Okay.
I'll check in to make sure.
Okay, yeah, that was my 2 questions, thank you.
I just have a concern, again, on the calendar, that's always been an issue to people and that kind of may relate to the question about the updates of people. There was always the issue that if somebody didn't update something, the date wasn't reflected on the calendar on the main page.
Oh, yeah.
Is that going to be corrected here? Cause that has always been an issue.
Yes, we will, like I said, we're actively encouraging and telling staff to keep the website and the meetings up to date. The calendar, how it works is when you file as a board, you file your 2026 calendar. That in the old process, that goes into Trish's office, and then she has to go into that board and commission module and put in your regular meeting schedules. Then when you come in and say, oh, we have a special meeting on Tuesday, then it's up to the person uploading the agenda and the minutes to add that to the calendar. And that has been the missing step. So that will be, especially now that we have this new website and the calendar's in a more large and prominent position, that'll be a piece of the step that we let people know.
Okay, so but it's still, everything is still remains in the hands of the department to keep their information current, not one central.
Yeah, it is, so each department maintains their website. We don't have a specific webmaster that does the entire town.
Okay.
You could ask for one in the budget if you'd like.
I think a distributed management for like content especially if it's like this, I think it's about accountability and training. And so that, you know, when you're posting a new agenda, these are the steps you have to do, and that seems like a necessary, sorry if I.
No, my only thing was, like, if you look at, I know that Mark had said that we're not doing a lot of work on the old website, so like if you look at today, design review board is on here 3 times. It's so like if you look at town calendar.
They're very important.
Yeah, I know, but it's just, why is it there 3 times? You know, I think it's just like we could have a new website, but if the data in there isn't good, then it's just a better looking thing. I always have an issue with signing up for the calendars. So like to have it automatically download to my phone. It always says there's an error. So just to be sure that works, because I just find it easier just if I have the whole calendar for the year on my phone. I don't have to go to the website.
Okay, I didn't know that was a feature on our old website.
The iCalendar thing is on there.
Yeah, I can.
Okay, so calendar
It
download to
doesn't
phone.
promulgate.
It doesn't work. Yeah.
That's why I like it when he sends us calendar invites.
Yeah. That's all. Those are my only 2 things.
Is there, and I don't know if that board has appetite for this, cause we're all really busy, but is there a grace period where we could have access to it, like the 6 of us, before it gets rolled out to the public? So that at least we know that we've kind of eyeballed some of the things that we look for, to make sure that they're there before the public finds it. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if anybody has time or interest in doing that, but it's just a thought.
I'm not gonna go through it. I think that you the only thing you delay is the opportunity to get feedback from the public.
Yeah.
And maybe if there's a way that we can just show appreciation for them bringing up the fact that they found a bug and that it's being worked on and that they're a part of the whole process. If we delay it, for instance, a week, if we take a week as us to do it, now we're launching it on Christmas Eve. And you know, it's just, I don't know how much that's gonna give you, but I hear where your concern is, right? We're opening this up, and if it's not fully baked, you know, the concern is the public won't see a finished product, but that's actually what we're giving them, is trying to give them something so that they can help us see what we don't know that they wanted to see.
Yeah. Well, that leads me to a question, and I think you might have answered it. If I submit an issue I found, is there a feedback loop that I know that it's fixed and I'm gonna go in and check it?
I can check on that. I know IT will get it, and then I don't think we were planning on responding to each and every form.
Okay.
But I can look into the feasibility of
'Cause-
that if you'd like.
Yeah, because I manage a website and that's what we did. If somebody found something that wasn't working, we would I mean, I don't know how many people are gonna respond. If it's I don't think it'll be thousands, but it was nice to know that it was fixed and to retest the issue that I found.
Right.
Because otherwise, if they don't go back and look for it and somebody else didn't find that issue, you may not find it until the next person does it again, right?
If maybe to meet halfway, if there's a way, cause they'll be responding to a lot of messages, I hope, right?
And
'Cause
automated.
I hope that a lot of people
Yeah.
will, so maybe there's a list that's a running list, even if it's a Google Sheets thing or something. Where you can say that it was submitted on this date, a simple explanation, and that it's resolved or something, if they think that that's feasible. I know that the staff time on responding and then
Right.
the subsequent thanks and then happy holidays out of office responder.
But if you open like, it's like if you open an IT ticket, for example.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
When the issue is resolved, Kevin is knocking himself over.
candy knocked over
Right.
Watch out for that Pez.
The you know, so like if you open an IT ticket, so same thing. Once the ticket is resolved, maybe it's just an auto message rather than
Yeah.
the staff taking the time to
Yeah.
reply. It's an auto message. Once the ticket is resolved and the ticket is closed, then the response can go out that this issue has been resolved. Please let us know if there's any
Yeah.
other further
Yeah.
issues that you may have.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
would work, just something that you know that it's in someone's hands, like
'Cause
an
they-
automated thing.
I think the big thing is, like I pointed out, even though I still sometimes have trouble finding certain things on the website and I'm looking for something in particular, but you know, we and the people in the building and the departments are insiders and we're looking at it from an insider lens. The general public usually comes to the website and doesn't know unless they're familiar enough, but they're coming to look for something in particular. They may have a problem, they may have an issue, they may have a big question, maybe a tax issue, and you wanna make sure they understand how to use it.
Yeah.
Not,
Definitely.
you know, we from insider perspective.
So I'm gonna I'll include this in the first selectmen's report that whenever I know for sure if it's going out tomorrow or Thursday, I'll put it in there and I'll try to include the
It'll be
information.
tomorrow. It'll
Yeah,
definitely
so
be-
that people know and that the status is that it's really on everybody to test it, I guess.
I think it's really important to get this out as soon as possible.
Yeah,
It's, the longer we delay it to make it perfect, it's just gonna take that much longer to get perfect. And I like the idea of reaching out to people, and even if it's as they finish changing stuff on a day, they did a auto send and it goes out to the 10 people or whatever the number is. Here's how we are. If we didn't address it, get back to us. But
okay,
you know, I think everyone's intention is good, but the sooner we get it done, especially going into the new year,
okay.
would be a good thing.
I got a couple quick ones.
Oh, Steve, okay,
I know, I'm quiet tonight.
you are.
So far, give me time. I'm waiting for the Performing Arts Center. Just kidding. Just two things. One is on our existing website, if you wanted to send an individual select person an email, that is hard to accommodate. Is that being addressed somewhere in this?
I
Cause I
think we,
saw, click all again, but no other hyperlinks to individual select people.
yeah, I think we just pulled what was done in the old one. If we can look into adding individual if you
That
want.
was asked before, not by me,
Yeah,
by
the
people of
public.
the public.
Correct.
So I wanna make sure that's addressed. And the other thing is, can we?
Sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to clarify, do you mean for just this board or you mean every board and commission or? just
It
wanna
would
make
be
sure.
great, every board and commission, but I understand, time allotment.
Yeah.
I think it's more pertinent on boards that have multiple faces, such as the Board of Selectmen,
Sure,
to be
yeah.
frank, Board of Finance.
Yeah.
Board of Ed,
Yeah.
People that have multiple facing positions, those are probably a different attainability
Sure.
level.
Thank you.
The other thing was, at this point, we have a box on our existing website, try our beta website or whatever it says. Can we invert that so that when we go live, we run the old website, if someone wanted to go to it, they could still go to it for whatever reason. When we jumped off the bridge with ClearGov, which I call it jumping off the bridge for a reason, we didn't leave anything stacked where we could just, do comparison. I hate to give the general public 14 days and we're done, it's gone, the whole website, you can't even see it. If we could just have a little box somewhere that says, missed the old website, wanna say hi, warning not updated. But, just to have it running concurrently, I'd like to see that for at least, I don't know, a specific time, but sometime just as we transfer, if we hit a hiccup, I like a safety.
If you have an end date on it.
Yeah,
this will
I'll
be
have to
taken down
look
by-
into that. I don't know if managing two domains, if there's an
I don't think
added
we-
cost and stuff like that. I don't know the
Mhm.
computer
no worries.
world and that possibility.
I don't think it would, I won't assume.
Yeah, it's a
I don't
terrible
think it's a big
environment.
deal, honestly, especially if we have the disclaimer that it is no longer maintained. It gives the safety if we ever had to backpedal for whatever reason. The structure is still there on the side of the road dead, but if we had to pick it back up, the structure's there.
I will look into it.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a couple
That's
other.
what my wife says about everything. I know what that means,
That's an
Tom.
idea.
Just a test.
Right? I'll look into that, honey.
Okay,
No, I'm done.
Will there
Okay.
be a time after it's live that they could still give feedback though? Cause again, we're launching this over December and into January. I just keep thinking, I keep harping on the tax office, but come tax season, all of a sudden, people,
Yeah,
you may
that's
get
a
a
good
lot of
point.
driving to the website for a specific thing and now people still can't find things. Can they still give feedback? Cause we think it's working, but we realize it's not doing its job that we want.
I can ask Rick to add the link to the comments or comments or concerns form that's up here. The website update request form. I can ask if we can add that as a permanent link to maybe the IT page.
Right.
yeah,
Great.
And then if you have any kind of, like we said, we want it to be an evolving website as it comes. We don't want it to be
Right.
stagnant for the next 10 years until you guys fund another one.
Right.
So having that form there can allow people kind of come through
yeah,
and say,
there's
"Oh,
always
found
something
this."
like that on the
Yeah.
website if
Okay.
you run into a bug or something.
Great.
Item not found. Okay, everybody okay with moving on and rolling it out? Okay. So for selectmen's report, I always try to be quick here. I wanna announce the tri-board meeting will be held tomorrow at the library to kick off our 26-27 budget season. And thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
Members of the Board of Ed, Board of Finance, and Board of Selectmen will be present. The other thing that happened in the last couple of weeks is the Nod Road Solar has filed with the Connecticut Siting Council. I'm gonna include the link to the page on the Siting Council that has all the descriptions and everybody, all the abutters and all that kind of information. It looks like there's a really short timeline for the municipal or state agencies to provide comments. So I did ask to talk to George this week to see what our role is in this, because there's pieces of this that we asked for that we have still not received. All of us, most of us asked for renderings to see what it's actually gonna look like, and that's kind of the key here, I think, is what's the impact to the vistas that we provide in the town. And we have not gotten that, and there was pushback, I think, on that to get that. But that is one of the things that might be part of the rationale. They did ask Conservation Commission, zoning, and I believe planning to also weigh in on any comments and stuff like that. So I think George is the lead on this, is that true?
Yep.
And Bob obviously will weigh in on any action that we can take, but I'm gonna try to find out what our role is here, if any. So just wanted to let everybody know that. I got an update from the Farmington Valley Health District that there's a bird flu update.
Yeah.
And that there's a I'll include it in here, but they found some black vultures that have tested positive, and they're making sure that people are aware and to keep tabs on that. So I do have the write-up from Stephanie Johnson, and I'll share that in the first Selectmen's report. I wanna thank the DAR, the Legion, the VFW, and all of the members of the board that came out on Saturday for the Wreaths Across America. That was a little bit chilly, but it was a very nice event. It's always kind of just a nice recognition. One other thing that I've been involved in some emails on that I wanna share with the board and the public, that the Farmington Valley Trails Council is applying for a mile marker project from New Haven to Westfield, covering 83 miles to put up trail markers and signs and what mile you're on in between that distance. Tom Taberski was involved in it, and then the next thing he knew that they said they needed the decision by December 3rd. I was told that there was no need from the legislative body to approve that it was an administrative approval. And so Tom provided some information on that and made sure that there's no, the responsibility isn't on the town and things like that. I included that in here, so that will be in the public. Chamber of Commerce Government Affairs, they're regrouping this Thursday at 9:30, so hopefully most of us can attend that and start that back up again. The website update, again, I'm gonna include some information on that, and also just the latest rules of procedure once that we received, or direct people to go look at those, and also SVAA annual meeting. I don't think anybody from our board attended, and I believe Karen said no one from the public came, but they did have a presentation. So I'm gonna try to include the link here, and I can't remember, I'm planning to send it to everybody. I don't think I did, but I was gonna send it to our board. So that I think is all I have, and I'm gonna turn it over now to Tom.
So I'm gonna read Mark's town manager's report. First, we want to start off and say happy Hanukkah and happy holidays. Relatively short, but Management Specialist Franklin Baruco received his certified Connecticut municipal official designation from the Connecticut Conference of Municipalities at their annual convention this year. That was in early December. So we'd like to congratulate Franklin. And the annual Simsbury Skate and Share holiday event will be held at the Simsbury Farms rink on Tuesday, December 23rd from 1 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. Free skating admission with the donation of a non-perishable food item to the Simsbury Food Pantry, and rental skates are available for $5 while supplies last. And the rest of Mark's team will be online.
Okay, Mike, weren't you the Santa for a while?
Yeah, and they didn't ask me back.
I think you should pull some weight around for us. Okay, alright, so everybody's just getting started on their liaisons and subcommittee reports, so I'm not sure how many meetings have happened between now and then, but I'm gonna just go down to Kevin and work our way down the aisle here.
Sure, just one from me, Sustainability Committee met, I wasn't able to attend the meeting, but got the several goals that they had set for the year, and including scheduling another sustainability fair, talking with the schools about expanding recycling and many other things, so I appreciate the opportunity to continue serving and be a liaison with them, that's all from me.
Thanks.
You didn't try and do it as well as Diana does it, but Culture Parks and Rec met. They have a new member, Andrew Droney. There was a presentation from McLean, the same presentation that we've seen. They said that this year's Simsbury Celebrates was the top five largest as far as turnout. They estimated between 16 and 18,000 people there. They did a report on the Simsbury golf and Simsbury Farms. So they said it was a good season, not a great season. The family that runs Cracker Barrel is taking over for the Simsbury Farms restaurant, and they agreed to their 2026 meeting dates.
Okay, sounds good.
All I had was Simsbury Main Street Partnership. They supported and organized a gift card program locally on Black Friday and Small Business Saturday, resulting in 432 gift cards being sold and keeping $26,000 in our local economy. And they continue to develop a townwide gift card program that will be debuting in 2026.
Okay. And I actually purchased a gift card and have a free $20 at Antonio's.
Excellent choice.
Only good at hoops and hops.
But we're really gonna use it for eggplant grinders, so I'm gonna pass that along.
Also a good choice.
Okay, I'm gonna move down to Diana.
So we did have a public safety subcommittee meeting. A Stuffer Cruiser is tomorrow. Tomorrow and Wednesday from 3 to 7 at Tractor Supply. Bringing down new unwrapped toys, and the police cruisers will be there along with Clifton, and it's always a good event. We did approve our 2026 meeting calendar, and we are staying with quarterly meeting. It was discussed to look at potentially every other month, but it was decided to meet quarterly. The big discussion we talked about was some cold weather protocols, and they want to push some things out to the public, both from an Eversource perspective as well as from a Public Works perspective. We're gonna include some winter prep stuff in our newsletter for winter safety. SVA received a grant for IV pumps. They are doing an EMT class in January. Police wanted to make the public be aware and a public service announcement to please not leave gifts in your car over the holiday season as you are shopping or going around town, or leave your key fob in the car or near the car. You would think it's that they're seeing some break-ins and they are just reminding people do not leave things in the car, and to check your tires with the cold weather. Lost hikers seem to be the new norm for the fire department up on the mountain. And and then the heating assistant is available through Eversource. And they're still doing their energy efficient home audit, which is free through the end of the year. And they're wrapping up the flu vaccine program. And that's it. And then Aging and Disability Commission, they had their
You said that was it.
I know, no, that was it for public safety.
Oh, sorry.
Aging and Disability Commission, they had their Sensory Santa event last Saturday, and they had 120 attendees, which was really a really great program. The library is meeting tonight. I'm unfortunately missing that meeting. And the SIMPAC again is negotiating with the Hartford Symphony Orchestra, looking to increase from a 5-year contract and booking acts for 2026.
Good. Can't wait for summer. Great.
I attended the housing meeting and
Oh,
had a good discussion about kind of where they are, where they're going to. They're applying for a grant to take care of some safety issues
okay.
that the fire marshal would like them to address, so they're working on that.
Great. So you got the 8 a.m. Friday shift now.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
He's awake that Monday.
Okay.
Wendy, can you
Well, so it wasn't me, it was Chris.
probably look at, who's the fair rent liaison right now?
You're gonna make me look that up.
You? Okay, so I have we'll have to make sure Kristen updates you, cause I,
She
yeah.
called me already.
okay, cause we got something today. Okay, just making sure.
And just so you know that CROG is, I think people have responded, I think I'd sent it to Diana to do a regional fair rent commission, so we're trying to hear them out on what that means and how that would impact us.
Staff has sat in on those listening
Oh,
sessions.
okay,
so
great.
as more comes available, we'll let you know.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I think we're ready to jump into the meeting. So the first item that Amy's here for is the reclassification and revision of the deputy assessor job description. This came to us in personnel, we had a few questions, Amy was gonna prepare some additional information, so Amy's here to provide that to us.
So this was quickly sent in, just a quick overview, sorry. So this was sent in from Amy and Francine to Mark. And this was passed along as with Mark concurring with it. And if you'd like to give a quick overview of the memo.
Oh, sure. So in your packet, you have the memo that I sent to the town manager. Probably doing my best pitch I could come up with as to why we would like to upgrade the deputy assessor. She has received her, she passed an exam that only 50% passed, Connecticut Municipal Assessor exam, so now she is a certified Connecticut Municipal Assessor. So she has all of the knowledge and authority in the eyes of the state of Connecticut as the assessor does. Just some brief overview on salary, and the memo that I have is back from May when I did when I put together the proposal, but just to give you some today's dollars. So our deputy assessor right now is at a grade A2 step 4, which is about $77,000 a year, and we are proposing a grade A5 step 1, which is about $88,000 a year, so an increase of about $11,000. Just as a note, the prior deputy assessor who did not have this certification had a salary of, in what would be in fiscal year 26, just shy of $84,000. So even being certified, she's still making less than the person that was not certified. Also wanted to point out that this was also one of the recommendations that came. We did a performance audit of the assessor's office back in July of 2024. This was also included as part of one of their recommendations to increase the compensation for this position, especially given the parcel count, not based on surrounding towns and the duties of the office, but actually based on parcel count. Let's see. Just wanna see if there's anything. Oh, and then I also did put a breakdown in there of towns with similar populations and their parcel counts and where Simsbury ranges in those. And I think that's it for high levels. But if you have any other questions on the detail, I'm happy to go through it.
One thing to note is we had sent this off of it is a union position, so we sent it off to them after personnel sub, and they had agreed to it as well. And then the job description would have 2 levels, so if we have to go out to a recruitment, we are able to kind of be flexible. If someone doesn't have the certification, they would come in at that lower grade that they're currently at, and if someone does have it, we're able to flex and kind of be more competitive if they have their certification. Which is similar to a position currently also in town in the town clerk's office, where your assistant town clerk 1 and 2 position is another test that you have to study for and take, and once you take it, you automatically get bumped up to that assistant town clerk 2 position.
So what grade is that lower grade? Is it A2?
So no, so they're in a different union, so they're a T7 to a T10.
No, not the
Oh,
Yeah,
it would be A2 for this year, where as part of that GovHR studying the contract that we negotiated over the summer in 2026, all the numbers change. So both of those are in the proposed job search in your packet. So without the designation, it would be a grade 35, and with it would be a grade 37.
Okay. We had a couple questions from the I went back to look at the minutes cause I know we'd asked Amy a bunch of questions and I don't think they were documented fully in the minutes. So one of the questions that was asked was I think the request was to fund all the way back to when it was earned rather than when it was approved. And the question came up, if this is a promotion, should you get the promotion and raise when the promotion is given based on the job classification? I think you had asked the first part of that and I had asked about the promotion piece. And then what's the financial impact of the impact?
The retroactive.
Yeah, if it's
aspect.
retroactive versus starting effective when this is effective.
Yeah, so as Amy talked, going back to, the request is to go back to July 1, so you would, which would then also change that employee's step date to that date as part of the union agreement, so they would step on July 1 going forward. So that was that $11,000 adjustment to this current fiscal year we're in. That savings would come from our, we budget for that kind of vacancy factor, which at the last personnel sub you heard, we are well on track to be hitting that. So there wouldn't be an impact for that this year, and then going forward in the next year's budget, it would be documented accurately there.
Okay, I'm just looking for the 11,000 in here, where it is.
So that would be the hourly,
Oh, it's just, it's not, the total isn't in here, you just said that
the
this,
hourly difference of $6.24.
that's all we see here.
Yeah.
Okay, there was another related question to that, going back to July. And so they go back to July, they get the raise, and then they also get the GWI on top of the increase.
That 624 has that the current year contracts GWI in that, they so like so they would just get that difference right now.
So any other person, like let's say the zoning compliance officer was the zoning compliance officer or somebody in this role, they earn it, did they get the increase as effective as when the item occurred or as to when?
So if this current person, if the vacant position becomes vacant, a new person comes in, they earn their certification after however long it takes to do it, that if goes through as proposed, on that date that they earn the certification, they would bump up to their.
Okay.
Would that be retroactive back to the beginning of the fiscal year of when they earned
No,
it or
so-
the date that they earned it?
No, it'd be the day that they earn it. This one is retroactive because they actually did earn it back. I put it in the cover memo. But they did earn it.
I didn't see that in the.
Yeah, I was gonna
I
ask the
think
same.
it said in May
sorry.
somewhere,
May 20th.
I think in Amy's letter.
Yeah, 20th.
Sorry.
I'm thinking it's May 20th.
You
So
think?
Thanks,
they,
Steve, I circled that. I see it in her memo.
so we chose to stay within this current fiscal year. We didn't wanna go and mess up any accounting and expenditures in previous fiscal years, cause one, I don't think we're allowed anymore. I think it's long gone.
So let me ask one more question. So if we go back to July, I think this was another question we asked. We go back to July and that's when they're the A5, right? The they become the A5 step 1.
Yep.
But you're also telling me that they got a step increase somewhere along the line too.
So they have
Is
not
that-
hit their step date yet. That's anticipated in the spring. That's on date of hire usually. Then when someone gets promoted into a new position or changes into a new position, their step date goes with that date into that new position. And we've had some people where their step date has been readjusted based on MOUs with the union as well. So the step date for this employee would become that July 1.
Yeah, that was part of the question, that the step date goes back to July also, so I'm not trying to belittle the work, but it gives them an extra 6 months that they'll get another step increase, right?
They will step on July 1, 26, correct.
So that's also a little bit of a right, a shorter window for a step increase because of the promotion. That's what I'm asking or saying.
Oh, for now, yes.
Yeah, for now. For
But
just
for,
the-
it is a
just- yeah,
365.
I got it. Okay, Anybody else have any questions on this?
Are any of the roles and responsibilities changing, or is it just, like, is the person going to take on additional?
So they are able to take on more duties. As Amy mentioned, they're able to do everything that an assessor is able to do. So if we have an absence, if we have for some reason a long-term absence, there won't be any impact to the department. I'm sure based on that audit that we had, there could potentially be things to kind of shed off of Francine onto this person. That part we haven't totally gone into yet, but we can look into that.
Because typically if you get a promotion, your job role changes, so just if you're doing the same thing, then it seems.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, that this is just if you have earned a degree, you
Yeah.
get a bump,
Yeah.
right? So,
Well, there are other industries where if you get a certification,
yeah,
doesn't necessarily mean your job description changes, but if you have that certification, you will get a higher increase in your salary.
okay.
They're legally capable to do other
Right.
things, right? With this
Yeah.
with this designation that they weren't legally able to do prior.
Okay, so I'll ask for a motion effective December 15th, 2025 to approve the proposed revisions to the deputy assessor job description as presented, further move to approve the reclassification of the deputy assessor position retroactive to July 1st, 2025.
So moved.
Second,
Is there any more discussion?
Just, are there any other positions that we're planning on reclassifying retroactively?
Retroactively, I don't know off the top of my head, unfortunately. We are going through each job description currently as part of the GovHR study from a couple of years ago. We have 110 job descriptions to update. And by charter, they've got it all funnel through the 6 of
You'll
you.
be the first to hear.
So right now, we aren't looking at it, but I would have to go back.
How standard is it to reclassify a position retroactively?
I don't know how many often we've done it. I'm sure there's been a few times, but I don't know off the top of my head how often we've done
I
that.
support the idea of the reclassification. I do have concerns about doing it retroactively, but I'm willing to vote for it to move it forward.
Yeah.
I worry about the precedent that it sets, and I think this is a unique circumstance that putting myself a year ago, if I were making the decision, I would do it. I would think that this person would be qualified for this and this classification makes sense. But from a precedent setting and from what our responsibilities are here, it's strange to do it like this. So
You wanna make a
that's
friendly amendment to
No, I
not
think that this is
push it
fine.
back?
I understood the discussion here, and like I said, I'm thinking about it as the decision that I would have made at the time that this is being brought back to, but I don't think that it's a precedent that we would necessarily wanna set.
that is why I asked the question about the next one, would it be retroactive as well? Or given at the time of the certification, and they clarified that it would be at the time of the certification.
Yeah.
That's exactly why I asked the question.
Yeah, we brought it up at personnel too, but if no one wants to amend that to not move it back, I'll take a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Is that everybody?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. Okay. All right, so that passed. Amy, I have a question on the
She was almost gone.
the bonding wording for the PAC, and I don't know if you need to be here for that.
She doesn't think so.
I was able to connect with Amy before the
Okay.
meeting, so hopefully I can answer it.
Okay.
and-
If not, you can shoot me a text, I just have to get my kid, but I
Okay,
can call
go.
in if you need me.
Okay, go. Okay, so now we are on the
Simsbury Education
Yup,
Association.
the Simsbury Education Association item. And so we have Neil Sullivan here. I'm just trying to pull that up now. I didn't do my usual taglining on this.
Page number 50 in your.
Lovely page numbers,
Thank you.
nice job.
I printed some and not all. Okay, so page 50. So you wanna give us the skinny on this?
Directly over to Neil.
So this is an element of the state statute about teacher negotiations that says after the negotiation happens, we settled this one in mediation in early October, that then the union needs to ratify, which they did in late October. Then the Board of Education needs to approve the contract, and that happened on November 11th. And then as a final step, only the teacher's contract comes before the Board of Selectmen. Undoubtedly, because in most towns it represents the biggest financial contract of any union in a particular town. So I think that's why this step is in the statute. So it was a negotiation process that we started in August. The statute actually takes a date. They look at the last few years. When do you approve your budget? And you're required to start negotiation 6 months before the budget date, because unlike most municipal contracts, this one is subject to binding arbitration by a certain date. So you wanna settle this one when you need to, because both sides want to avoid binding arbitration. So that meant for us, we wanted to settle by October. We met that goal. We have a good relationship with the Simsbury Education Association. Our board, I lead the negotiations from a staff standpoint, but we are represented by Shipman and Goodwin, and Tom Mooney, who is the head of the school law group at Shipman and Goodwin. He literally wrote the book that's called Connecticut School Law, if you wanna see it in my office. So he is the best of the best, and he has represented our board for about the past 6 or 7 cycles of the teacher negotiation. The summary document, you will see mostly people care about wages and insurance on these things. The state, we knew going into this cycle that most teachers' contracts are 3-year contracts. And the state average that I had shared with the Board of Finance in the summer was 3 years with a total of 13.2% as a state average, with a number, so teacher contracts are pretty rich right now in the state of Connecticut. It's now been 2 cycles like that coming out of COVID. So we knew that that's the ballpark that you're talking about to settle a teacher's contract and not take it to arbitration. If you look at, there's a little bit of different information. The one that we prepared for our Board of Education gives you under number 2, our settlement landed at 13.03%. There's 2 things that are added up when you do a teacher. Some teachers, a smaller percentage in Simsbury, are still moving up the steps. They haven't reached the top of the experience level yet. And where this was an interesting negotiation, because unlike other towns, we have many fewer teachers moving up the steps. Most Simsbury teachers come here, they stay here, and they're at the top step already. So by spending less to move teachers up the step, our teachers at the top, to get an average settlement, actually got a pretty good increase here. So as you can see, the people at the top received over the 3 years of the contract a 3.4% in year 1, 3.4% in year 2, and 3.5% in year 3. So those people at the top probably did a little better than they did in other towns, but our teachers had some room to move, even though like in our DERG, even though our performance is usually first or second in the DERG in most marks, our teacher ranking of salary was more like 7th or 8th. And so it was definitely a goal for our teachers to see that increase to the top, and with a slightly less than average state settlement, we were still able to direct money there. So wages, I think it's a very fair contract. In terms of premium cost share, you can see that we continue to ask the teachers to contribute a little more to the premiums every year so that it's less burden on the board's side of the insurance costs. So with half a year in each year of this contract, they will top out that teachers now contribute 22.5% to the high deductible health plan. And the high deductible plan is the only one that new teachers can enter into. If you remain in the other plans on a legacy basis, you pay the difference between, it's a buy-up provision where we ask you to pay the full difference between that. There were some other minor changes. I'll only point out one that was significant one in the negotiations at the bottom of page 2. We revised language for advancement on the salary schedule. So just like you were talking about when people earn certifications on the town side and they can get a pay increase, teachers get pay increases when they go back to school and get another degree. So everybody obviously starts with a bachelor's degree, many have a master's degree when they start. But then they can get something called a 6th-year degree or a 7th-year degree. In the old days, back when I did it, that meant after a day of teaching, getting in your car, driving to Yukon, taking more classes. And you were usually making a 2 to 3 year commitment of professional development in order to earn what that pay raise was going to be. Our 7th year lane, we call them, was out of line a little bit in that some towns don't have them at all. Most towns that do have them, it has to be a doctorate. So moving forward, we're saying that if you're gonna earn that 7th year degree, it needs to be a doctorate. And we've made it a little more challenging because, as I said, the old days you used to go back to school. Now with the proliferation of online learning, and that's how a lot of adult learning, people can earn these degrees pretty quickly. And we felt like we needed to have a pretty deep conversation with the union about what that's gonna look like for the future. So what kind of online programs we're gonna be willing to approve and what ones we're not. So that was a major subject of the negotiations, important to both sides. And we reached the language that is here in the proposal. So a very good negotiation, a successful ratification by the membership of the SEA. And our board voted unanimously to approve it. My understanding of this stage is that you have 3 options. If you could vote in favor of approving the contract. You could reject the contract. That would send us back to binding arbitration and a very tight timeline on that at this point. Or you can choose to take no action. And if you choose to take no action, the contract becomes official in 30 days. So
let me ask the question, because honestly, we're not at the table for this.
Correct.
It's just a legal requirement on our side. I don't know anything about the where and how we ended up at the GWIs, because they're higher than the town GWIs, I believe. Ours aren't this high. So by taking no action, I mean, we're not endorsing it, we're just, does it speed that up for you? I don't think we're going to refer it to binding arbitration, but if we just don't do anything, it's really not on us. It's the Board of Ed has made these decisions and we're just letting them happen.
And during my time in negotiations, the Board of Selectmen has handled it both ways.
Okay.
They've both.
And that's true on the town contracts as well. You can approve, you can say no, we can go to arbitration, or you can take no action for that 30 days.
But we're involved in those, we're not involved in this one. So I was gonna see if anybody has an appetite to just not vote on it and let it just go.
I concur with that.
What's the
Okay.
date of file? It says the 30-day waiting period from the date of file.
Yeah, so we're at December 15th, we're fine.
Or what's the date? Is it January 15th or is it an earlier date that it will be ratified? If we take no action, what date will the contract be ratified?
30 days from today, it becomes it just goes into place.
So the date of file is us filing no action?
So, I mean, which we could decide to take no action that right now and then
That's what I-
revisit it at the next Board of Selectmen meeting if for some known reason.
Well, if there's no rush, I would just say I'm in favor of taking no action. I don't know if there's consensus on that.
I would approve us taking no action.
Okay,
Board of Ed has approved this,
Correct.
agreed to
Yeah.
this, and it's not your money, it's our money, but at the same point, I think taking no action is appropriate.
Okay, does everybody kind of concede with that? Cause otherwise I don't wanna vote it down, cause if we're gonna vote for it, so I'm not gonna.
Correct.
He would
I'm gonna speak up if you're gonna vote it down.
Right.
Yeah, we're not,
Is
so
we have another meeting
I was
within the
just not
30
gonna
days.
make the motion,
We're
just
not
let
going
it go.
to.
We don't want by.
Yeah, well, do we need to table it?
No,
Oh, I know.
It's not-
no, we
it's not on
we
the
don't have to
action.
do anything, it's done.
Okay, great job.
Okay, thank you.
Participation
Thank you,
award.
Neil.
Thank you for moving me up in the agenda, I do appreciate it.
Okay.
Have a good night.
Okay, that's done. Okay, so the public library, do you want us to move up your stuff? Cause there's no one here from the library, so you guys, we can move this to the
Adam and I
end.
were just enjoying ourselves back here.
Did you have a cupcake yet?
I'm eyeing the cupcake.
Well, I
Have a
think,
cupcake.
so do you wanna us to move your stuff up?
Families at some point.
Why don't we just
Yeah.
move the library to,
You're like Mortimer and that other
Move the
guy.
library down.
yeah, that's what I just said. Why don't we move the library
Happy holidays,
to,
everybody.
oh, thanks,
Thank you,
Neil.
Neil.
Thank you, Neil.
Move the library to the end of the
To D.
agenda list.
Oh, all the way to the end? That would be aye.
Yeah, without objection.
Yeah. Yeah, no
I'm fine
objection
with
to
that.
that, what is it, I don't have to take a vote?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that. Okay, so just remind me I moved it for when it's 9 o'clock. Okay, the supplemental for the Aquarian Water Company 2024 water main. See, now you're up.
And the really nice map that I found, I have to say, thanks for the assist.
Yeah, long and short, this is something we've been doing for somewhere in the neighborhood of 6 to 8 years. When Aquarian Water replaces their old and aging infrastructure in our town roads. Our paving is done in 2 parts for the construction project. We put down temporary paving which would last over the winter. Any settlements would occur, and in the spring, the contractor, or in this case Aquarian, is responsible for repairing and patching the roadway back to a useful condition. They are not responsible for paving curb to curb, just for patching the areas that they worked in. Years ago, we began working with them and saying, these are the roads that we have that we are looking to pave in the next 5 years. Where do you have old water mains and can we work together? They also let us know that for their process, it is very beneficial to them to close out the project a year earlier. And what we came up with is that they pay us to do that final restoration. We get asphalt at a much better price than Aquarian or their contractors can through the state vendor in place contract, which is put out by Connecticut DOT. We buy over $1 million of asphalt a year, we get good purchasing prices. So we take a bit of a risk in that if their workmanship was not okay, if there was a defect in there was roadway settlement, we would own that. But at the same time, we end up paving a lot more roadway. Instead of doing patches, we pave curb to curb, and it's a better fit for our residents. Some projects we make out better than others. Sometimes we have a project where maybe instead of paving the road the year we wanna pave it, that's when they put in water mains and we have to hold off a year. That's beautiful. We've gotten our full value out of that road surface. They dig it up. We put it down, and almost every penny we put back into that road is a bonus. Some cases they come to us with roads that are maybe halfway, 3/4 of the way through their useful life, and they say that's really where we need to put in a main. We've had leaks, we've had breaks. And we say, okay, that's fine, you're gonna do that, and we're getting a new road maybe 3, maybe 5 years sooner. So we lost a little of that life on the road that we would have gotten, but we got the asphalt at a discount because a huge portion of it was paid for by Aquarian. So they gave us this money last year for Bob White Way and Valley View Drive, $196,000, just under $200,000, and that is for 0.9 miles of roadway, which the town will repave this year as part of our paving program. We need to do the supplemental appropriation, so we have this money ready to go. So as soon as spring hits, and it will be here soon before winter comes, we wanna be ready and line up our contractor to get that first tranche of paving. The next question I know is, okay, if Aquarian's giving you $200,000, why do you still need $1.7 million a year? Over the years, we factored this in, we know that we're getting it and we've accounted for it. The pavement in the capital budget has gone up from 1.2, 1.3 million up now to 1.7. Asphalt pricing over the last 8 years has essentially doubled. We used to be paying about $8 a square yard, we're now looking at 16, almost 17. And the price fluctuates, not only year to year, but during the year. There's something called an asphalt modifier, and the actual price that they pay for liquid asphalt at the port in New Haven affects the price that we pay week to week as we're paving our roads. So a lot of volatility in the market. Our team does a really good job of getting us our best value, and this is just all part of that program.
Questions on the
Rubberized chip seal, I think is
I was gonna ask about that. I almost made that comment, the chip seal. I do have a question, and I asked this of you earlier today. So we're moving to approve spending this money, but where does it show this money came in? And is there, what kind of accounting, and not that we're the accountants, but is there any acknowledgement, is it done at the Board of Finance that we received the $196,000?
So it'll show as a revenue, so the supplemental will get approved and then the Amy will show it as a revenue. I don't know exactly what line item. I can make a note during our budget presentation, we talk with you, show you where that goes in.
When it comes
When
in?
the check came in, and it did already come in.
Yeah,
Amy applies it to our pavement management fund, but we're not able to spend it without that appropriation.
okay. But you know how when we get grants, we have to approve the acceptance of the grants and things like that? We don't have to do anything with this money?
We have not traditionally done that, but I
Okay.
would say like all things, if you wanted to add that layer,
I don't know if it's needed, I'm just saying it's just,
We just
it
wanna
says
make sure we have the money.
$196,000 magically. So it's assumed that it was given to us already and it's in the, okay,
Yeah, it's conditional.
Yeah.
We have to use it there. I'm willing to vote.
okay, you're all set, everybody?
I'm fine.
Yep.
Okay,
Ready to vote?
a motion effective December 2025 to approve a supplemental appropriation in the amount of $196 for use in the town's pavement management program and to recommend this to the Board of Finance.
So moved.
Is there, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, the deep recreational trail grants, that's you guys too. Oh, that's Adam.
Adam.
Okay,
A lot of excitement.
I
Go
thought so.
Adam, go ahead.
Should've had the
Well, he's been
cupcake.
here for so long, he's like, okay, Adam, I wanna fill us in on this?
So the Deep Trails Grant, it usually comes out every couple years. This year it's very similar to past years. 10 million is available. Deep traditionally likes to spread that out as much as possible. So the awards usually range from somewhere between 10,000 to 500,000. They really look towards regional type projects. So one of the things we thought of this year, kind of in light of a lot of our conversations budget-wise in terms of maintaining what we have as opposed to adding new facilities. We know Curtis Park's coming on, hopefully going to construction this spring. There's the East Coast Greenway study, so there are already new facilities coming down the line. So one of the thoughts we had this year was to do something a little different and look at submitting a grant for maintenance of a trail that we have. The Farmington River Trail that goes between West Mountain Road all the way to Farmers Village, Bushy Hill. There's a section that is coincidental with Town Forest Road. That's our stone dust bike pedestrian path. We receive more complaints about that section, the stone dust sections, than really anywhere else in town. It exists on deep property, which can sometimes be a point of contention with grants. So that's certainly something to consider here tonight. But with the way we, or certainly I certainly look at these things, is it's a trail that's used by our students, cross-country teams, lots of our residents, and it's also a regional trail as Farmington River Trail. So I think it'll compete fairly well amongst the other applicants. So our look here is to really kind of return it to where it was, say 10, 15 years ago. Resurfacing stone dust. It operates really well as a stone dust trail, so we're not looking to pave it. There are sections where there's drainage swales on either side that have basically filled in with leaves and other debris over the years and don't operate as they once were. So we would look to kind of muck those out. There would be some selective tree clearing. I know the summary said kind of clear cutting. We're going to look at it from a selective standpoint of if there's a tree that's inhibiting drainage from flowing on either side, that tree's going to be removed. It has obviously grown in since the trail was created to begin with. So we're going to look to do this in, there's two sections, like I said, West Mountain to Town Forest, and then a section in Stratton Brook Park out to Farmers Village Road. We're gonna avoid touching the bridge that goes over a stream. We're purely looking at this for maintenance and avoiding time, extensions such as permitting. Our match with this project, we're proposing it as kind of an in-kind match, so we would do it with town forces. So essentially, we would go in, purchase material. I should say the Deep Trails grant is typically reimbursable. So you spend the funds and then you submit for reimbursement, and they give you back 80%. So we would do the work, buy the material, and then submit our invoice, and they would pay us back 80%. So in a sense of it being on not our property, but deep property, at least they're paying for 80% of this work. And I think it's a great way to improve a trail that's used quite a bit, and use our staff who've certainly proven that our DPW guys are capable of a lot. You saw it out here with the parking lot here, the Performing Arts Center, Two Farms Village. We're certainly capable of this, and I think it's great use of funds and time. But yeah, we'd look to submit that on Thursday of this week. If you approve.
Questions from anyone?
It's near where I live, so I'm on that trail quite a bit. I know that there's a lot of water that pools by the high school. So that, I guess, will you shut down areas while you're doing this, or when is the time frame that you wanna?
So the Deep Trails grant, it could be about 8 to 9 months before we even hear about awards. So this wouldn't be necessarily a this year project, it would be the next year following. And yeah, we'd probably have to shut down sections of it during the work.
How long do you think it will take?
It kind of depends on what's going on in town if we're gonna do it ourselves. So I think in an ideal world, we kind of try to chunk it out in week-long periods so that payroll's certainly easier that way and submission of it. So it kind of really depends on the section we're working on as well as how we get in there. But I think it can't be more than 3 to 4 weeks worth of work.
Maybe that we go in with a contractor who does some of the tree work, then we come in with our forces and do the drainage work, and maybe this week one type of work and then switch over a week. And the good thing is there's so much water back there, if we don't do something soon, the crew team will start practicing. So.
Yeah. I'm also.
Kevin, do you
For
have a
the
question?
in-kind match, which I didn't realize before, is that just straight time, or are they doing fringe and F&A? Do you guys know if they cover that part too?
So we've reached out to Deep for kind of clarification of that. I mean, my intent would be to, essentially the fringe benefits, everything. Just like if we paid a contractor.
Yeah.
And that would include machine time too. It will be cheaper than us bidding it out. So I think it's a win-win.
The other really nice thing that we found out when we do it with our own forces, it's a schematic plan. It's a plan that's very clear what we're doing, but we don't have to have a specification manual this thick that worries about every legality, because it's our guys. We're telling them what to do. If they come across something that's not the way we expected it, they circle back with Adam. It's a very fluid and efficient way to work a project like this.
Have we done these grants where they did this kind of thing too, or is in-kind match on staff time like that?
We have not, other towns have.
Okay. I think it's great.
Yeah.
Okay, so a couple of things I just wanted to clarify. That you have the resources to do this, one thing I asked you. And the other thing was, it is weird that we're taking care of a state trail, but right, I guess that's the way things go. And one of the reasons you said was because it'll last for 10 years and they haven't done anything to keep it up.
Yeah,
And it's impacting our residents.
There is a issue with an adjacent property that's discharging water that they shouldn't be onto the trail, and it's compounding the issue that the swales have just been choked in by fallen trees and.
Okay, let's.
It's not the biggest project in the world for us to fix, and if anything, it's been hard to sit on the sidelines and not see it fixed for so long.
Okay, do you have a question?
I just have a quick question. We would have to fund it upfront though, and then they reimburse us with the grant?
That's typical of a lot of these grants.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
So that would be would this be something we would be looking at as part of our budget to fund? Or would it be in 27 budget to fund?
This is, Tom, you wanna jump in if I go over the line? We have some accounting that Amy typically uses to front load grant projects,
Okay.
knowing that it's a receivable. It's a very trustworthy source once they give us the grant, we know we're gonna get that
Right.
receivable back.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask for a motion effective December 15th. Authorize submission of the proposal for grant funding to CT Deep under the 2025 Recreational Trails Grant Solicitation to fund a maintenance project located on the Farmington River Trail, and if it's awarded, further move to accept the grant and authorize Tom Fitzgerald, acting manager, to execute all documents related to the grant award. When will we get the grant award? Cause I was gonna say, is Mark gonna be back? Do we just wanna say the town manager here? To authorize the town manager to execute all documents related to the grant award and move to appropriate the grant awards and recommend said appropriation to the Board of Finance.
So moved with that amendment.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Okay, there you go. The next item is the referendum date for the PAC. I was gonna ask if we could take a 5-minute recess or a 3-minute recess. You guys can grab a cupcake, cause I.
Steve will talk faster if we don't recess though.
It's true.
Go ahead, I'm okay with that.
Is that okay? Do I, a motion to make a recess or?
So moved.
Sure, second.
Okay, all right. Just the TV off.
For years.
Yeah.
So although I own it, I'm technically not the operator.
Okay, recess
I'm
is
gonna
over.
go. I have nothing
Bye,
to
Joan.
Thanks, Joan.
Thank you.
Bye, John, happy holidays.
Okay, so, alright, so we're on the setting of the referendum date. For the, is the TV back on?
I'll check.
How do I look?
I was just gonna say that.
You look
Check your hair.
I was gonna just say.
You have to twist it. That's how you get it open. You do this.
Yeah.
But I tied it. Okay, hi.
Is there a delay?
Okay.
Yeah, there is a delay.
Okay, alright, so the next item is to set the referendum date for the Performing Arts Center NextAct project supplemental appropriation. There was a huge discussion on the December 10th, Board of Finance meeting. Tom presented everything. I shared as much as I could with the board that I had. If you haven't yet watched the movie, it's a 3-hour movie. And there's a lot of information onto how we ended up where we ended up. I'm gonna let Tom Fitzgerald or Tom just to address this, but I we basically, yeah, you wanna
Yeah, so I can give an overview of kind of the process. So similar to our budget process, you guys approved the supplemental appropriation back at a meeting prior. And since it's the Board of Finance, they scheduled a public hearing. They held the public hearing. After a lengthy discussion, they moved the supplemental appropriation with some caveats forward. So it comes back to you now. The supplemental appropriation has been approved. It has now come back to you to set the referendum date and question.
Okay.
That's the similar process that we follow for our budget, so we follow that for all kind of referendums held in town. So we've coordinated with the registrars on kind of the best scenario and date and time for them. So they have asked for January 24th, 2026. You'll note that that is a Saturday. It'll be held here at Town Hall. And the charter states that all referendums have to be from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. So that'll be from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Okay. So the word, I just wanna come right out with the wording question.
So the resolution or the referendum question wording?
Let me see, resolution appropriating,
So what you have in front of you was included in the packet. The resolution is that whole thing. The
Yep.
bottom one paragraph that starts with shall and ends with addition is the proposed referendum question. That would be what would be appear on
okay.
if someone comes to the
So I have a problem with the resolution wording in that I think it's confusing. So the residents have been through voting on this a couple times, right? And we specifically, when we did it, I think it was in 25 was the budget, 25th, 25. We spelled this out as best we could to break down all the figures so people understood what was already paid for and what wasn't paid for. When I read this wording, it says, it keeps saying through 888 in capital reserve funds, in addition to 350 previously appropriated. The $500,000 was previously appropriated by our board. So I don't understand why it's referring to the 888 because it's gonna give the illusion that it's 888 and not 388. And I think that needs to be
So-
clarified.
So I have a small follow-up on that is I can ask bond counsel if we potentially it could be subject to approval pending bond counsel review of the wording that you are proposing.
Okay.
But the resolution is given to you, so bond counsel wrote the original resolution that went to referendum. So he worked off of the version that he had. So at that time, the 350 was previously appropriated, the 500 was new, and the 350 was a proposed previous project that was the bathroom, designated as the bathrooms. And then the 500 was just capital reserve funds. So the 388 got added to that.
Okay.
So that is why it is written the 888 and the 350 separate here. We could send two to bond counsel for review and then go from there if you'd like.
I mean, I just think it's incorrect the way it's worded.
Can I clarify what your concern is, Wendy? You're worried that in the voting booth, the public might think that the number is different, or are you worried, where's the concern,
Well, I
so
guess-
understand?
So the public is only gonna see, so you're adding some more, the public's only gonna see the resolution.
When they go to vote, yes,
When they go
absolutely.
to vote,
That
but-
the number they'll see is the 388.
But in any communications with us,
They'll
they're
also get
looking at
this.
888 and we have to explain this and that
Yeah.
I can't explain it, it's not stated here. To show that it's partially $500,000 already approved, you're only approving 388.
I think we're allowed to provide informational pages and information, right? So
explanatory text for.
so in the mailer, there could be a link out to something that's on the new town page or the old town page or something that might add a little bit of color if you'd want on there. We're kind of constrained, I think, partially what Tom's mentioning and what can go in the actual resolution, but
But I still, and I hear your point, Kevin, but I still, if we're able to say 350 previously appropriated, why can't we say 500 previously appropriated or 850 previously appropriated? That is exactly what this is saying. This is really not representative of what is happening.
I think it's fair.
We can make that change and approve subject to that change, send out to
Okay.
bond counsel for review. If he says no, you will be the first to know. And his kind of follow-up responses from that, if you'd like.
Does everybody understand that and feel
I do.
that that's valid?
Yeah.
Like,
Question for you. The resident isn't gonna see that whole page that you're working off of.
I know,
So I think what we do is agree on the referendum question. That's legal. That we gotta do what we gotta do. Do I think it's confusing? Absolutely. Is it the way I would explain it? Absolutely not. But I don't think it really changes.
agreed. But I think if we can get it changed for anybody looking back historically to see what we did and what we voted on, I think it would make it clearer. So
Okay,
I think
great.
what we're saying is we're gonna ask bond counsel to make that correction to reflect the actual situation.
Okay.
But without holding it up at this point, we will.
We're not gonna hold,
Yeah.
yeah, you're gonna let us know what happened,
Mhm.
but otherwise people are gonna be explaining this and 10 years from now, when we're not here and somebody reads this, they're gonna start adding up more numbers. It's already confusing enough as it is, the numbers, and at least in my opinion.
So could you clarify for me one more time just what your changes are gonna be? 'Cause
My
we have
change-
to read the resolution tonight.
Okay, oh, I do have to read it.
Yeah, we have to do the whole thing.
Okay, so let me read it then, how's that sound? Do we wanna have more discussion on it, or I could,
I just wanna make sure I understand your numbers too, cause I trust your math better than my math. I just wanna know what we're voting on.
so if I have to read this whole thing from the whole page?
So yeah, you will have to read the whole resolution. My notes have you as in the kind of the third paragraph.
Yep,
Changing the 888 to 388 and the 350 to 850.
Yep.
And then doing the same thing in the fourth paragraph.
yep,
So that and then this one thing to note was that this resolution was read and adopted by the Board of Finance. I know you've talked about that, but
yep.
and I think that's the two changes that you'd like. And I would just say for the motion to do subject to council review.
Okay.
So move subject to council review and then start resolution appropriating.
But would it still be valid if we approve it subject to council review and they review it and say we don't agree with any changes, it would still pass regardless? I just wanna make sure.
Yeah, we're asking
Yeah,
them, my
to just review, not-
interpretation is we're asking them to look at it, to words craft it. But the reality is, personally, I'm more concerned about a piece of paper that goes out to the residents. And I think that's much more straightforward.
We have to get to that next, so,
Well, I understand.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's,
I was gonna say for Diana's question, I'll send it off to bond council right away.
okay,
If they come back and say, oh, we need it in the way that we had it, I'll ask if the wording subject to review covers what you're looking for. If it doesn't, then we'll
Special
be in
meeting.
touch about a quick 5-minute special meeting,
Okay.
hopefully.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at,
Hopefully
like,
5 minutes.
December 25th, I'm free.
okay, so the first thing that we need to do is approve the date, correct?
Correct.
We have to do the whole motion thing here.
Well, that says to just read it after, but that's not part of the motion.
So it is two motions. So the first
The second
set the
one.
date and then the second should be subject to bond council review resolution, starting with that whole, and then you have to read this whole page.
The second one's a whole page.
Yes.
Okay, this is the second motion, so the
Yes.
date is the first motion, so can we do the date and get that out of the way? So,
yes.
Can we have a motion effective December 15th, 2025 to set the date of Saturday, June 24th, 2026 for automatic referendum pursuant to section 406 of the town charter from 6 to 8 p.m. in Simsbury Town Hall, 933 Hot Meadow Street.
So
Second.
Any discussion?
January 24th. Got it.
Oh,
Yep, go ahead.
okay, what did I say, 25?
That's fine.
Oh, okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, check. Okay. Resolution appropriating an additional $388,000 in capital reserve funds for an aggregate appropriation in the amount of 3.170881 for the previously approved improvements to the Performing Arts Center Band Shell Edition. Previously approved, okay. Resolved that the previously approved resolution entitled Resolution Appropriating $900,000 in State Grant Funds, 1.032881 in donations and $500,000 in capital reserve funds in addition to $350 in capital reserve funds previously appropriated for an aggregate amount of $2.782881 for improvements to the Performing Arts Center Band Shell Edition is hereby amended to read resolution appropriating $900,000 in state grant funds, 1.032888 in donations, and $350,000 in capital reserves in addition to $850,000 in
388.
I said 350, right? 388 capital reserves in addition to 350 in capital sorry, you're messing me up. 850 in capital reserve funds previously appropriated for an aggregate amount of 3.17881 for improvements to Performing Arts Center Band Shell Edition. Resolved that the town of Simsbury appropriate $900,000 in state grant funds, 1.032888 in donations received, and $388,000 in capital reserve funds in addition to the $850,000 in capital reserve funds previously appropriated for an aggregate $3,170,881 for improvements to the Performing Arts Center anticipated to include a band shell addition off the rear of the existing structure, replacement of the existing roof to match the new roof, and replacement of existing siding to match new siding. These were questions that we raised the first time we did that, cause when we said we didn't have to just do these, even though they're in here, I'm just making that note here. To match new addition, permanent restrooms, storage space, green rooms, and rehearsal and community meeting space, heating, utility, walkways, stairs and ramps. The appropriation may be spent for planning, engineering, design, and consulting fees, equipment, materials, construction costs, utilities, and permit fees, and other expenses related to the project. The Board of Selectmen may determine the particulars and may reduce or modify the scope of the project, and the entire appropriation may be spent on the reduced or modified project. Further resolved that pursuant to section 406 of the town charter, this resolution be presented to the referendum vote under the following caption. Shall the town of Simsbury appropriate an additional $388,000 in capital reserve funds for an aggregate appropriation in the amount of $3.170881 for the previously approved improvements to the Performing Arts Center bandshell addition? So is there a motion to accept this resolution?
So moved.
Is there a-
Second,
You can have it.
second.
Is there any further discussion on this? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Okay. Okay. Are you staying for this whole, so now we get to look at the wording to the public and make sure that it's clear what the public is knowing. You know, we went through this before. I think I said that earlier, or I looked at it earlier.
So the mailer in front of you was a request from the Board of Finance.
Yep.
So that'll go out to all households in Simsbury. We got an estimate from a local company, so we are pretty accurate on the cost here. It'll be a 5.5 by 8.5 postcard size in black and white to help kind of keep some of the costs down. It'll be about $4,000 that Amy will handle through a transfer with the Board of Finance to cover that cost. So you have a draft in front of you. I'm sure you have comments and would like some edits. I did my best at graphic design, but I don't think it will become my day job. So
I just have a question on how, if I'm a voter and I haven't been paying attention to any of these meetings, when I didn't pay attention when I paid a little attention when we first did this and I voted after all the explanations the first go around, how am I gonna know what this is for? Because it doesn't really say, you know, why we're adding money to the project other than that we need more money for the project. And that's just my only take on this. Is there a way to explain, or do we not wanna explain any additional need because we know that a lot of it is due to the requirements for the fire marshal? So yeah,
part of it, sorry, I should have let off. This will get reviewed by our town attorney, and then he has a contact at the SEEC to make sure we're not advocating one way or the other.
Yeah.
Which is similar to your budget mailer.
that's true.
So that is by the motion says subject to approval by the town attorney. Sometimes he pulls some things out here and there.
Yeah.
So I did put in the bottom that I tried modeling somewhat off of the budget mailer you do, but with the public hearing and the discussion on December 10th, trying to focus people if they would like to kind of go to that meeting and hear all about it.
I don't know if this can be on here, I just looked back at when we did the CIP in 24-25 and we broke out, you know, where all the money that went into that 3.1, well then it was it was less, it was 2.782. How that 3.170881 got arrived at showed we previously had paid for the $350 for the bathrooms. You know, we know that we previously paid for $500,000. We have $900,000 from the state and we have $900 to $1 million something from the PAC. Do we just ignore that in the mailer?
We can certainly go and add it.
What do you, Tom?
It's on the backside.
Well, and again, it's always
Nothing.
what is, there are a number of things that cost more. You know, even when the bid came in before we talked about the fire sprinklers, the bid was higher than we had hoped it would be, and the big part of that was because this was bid in 2005 as opposed to 2004. All of our costs, or 2024.
Right.
All of our cost estimates were based on 2024, and a year later in 2025, everything was higher. And the challenge we had, and it was in the July meeting, was do you go forward with this bid having less contingency than you would like or not? And the reality is every year delay, giving a 5 to 8% inflationary cost, you're looking at another $200,000. So the decision was made to go forward. As with all construction projects, there were some unforeseen changes, and the primary one was the fire suppression system.
Okay, so people don't think this needs a wider explanation or anything like Steve said, like on the backside?
I have a couple comments.
Sure.
I think we should have something in bold at the top, similar to what we have for referendum question. I believe this can be voted on by all property tax owners. If you pay property tax, I believe you can vote on it.
That'll be a similar referendum. I believe if you have property valued over $1,000, you're able to vote in.
But
Yes.
that should be who we're going out to. And then I also feel really strongly we should put Saturday in there. Cause I can see somebody
Yeah.
coming
Oh,
back and
yeah,
going,
yeah, yeah.
oh,
Yep.
Right.
So under like the when Saturday, January 24th.
yeah.
That's a good call, Mike.
I think there's a your vote thing somewhere on here, and I know that the SCUC will have specific questions on for or against, but saying that your vote matters or somewhere, across the top as well. Timing is another question that I have, so popular, I get so many Christmas cards right now. I feel like this would be just lost in the sauce there, and I wonder if it's okay enough to be able to put it out after the holiday so that we're more likely to get closer to the actual vote required, and that it won't get lost in all the other mailings that are happening.
Is there a
I think
requirement
that's a great idea.
There's not a requirement for when the mailer's an additional layer we're adding.
Right.
The quote I got from the from local was about 5 to 7 business days for processing and getting it mailed.
Mhm.
So we can certainly kind of work on getting it out to them that week kind of after Christmas, and it would get to you in January.
That would be my preference.
I could put it on my Christmas card because I haven't done it yet.
You're gonna put the
The
referendum on.
wording, yeah, make sure you.
Send it postage too, no. But we could also put it on the website
Yes,
as a
definitely.
banner across.
And I'll include it in my, so I guess you know.
Is it two-sided?
It could be.
Probably cost more.
Cost more.
How much more?
Potentially
The other side is for the labeling.
The basket.
No, this is the I thought
This is the
the
labeling.
addressable?
This is the
category.
Is this
Oh,
the
stamp
addressable?
goes here.
Yeah.
No,
It was
this
the
in this
top right
type
corner.
right
Top
corner,
open top right corner.
like a mailer,
cost a lot
you know,
No,
a
they
political
tell
mailer.
you.
We can
All
work
that
on,
could have-
if you would like to add things to the back, I can update the quote and it's gonna be filled by a transfer from the Board of Finance, so.
Can you absentee vote on these? I'm just
No.
curious.
You,
That should be
Wait, let
on
Tommy
there
answer.
somewhere. I think that's another
Oh, he
relevant.
doesn't.
I believe there's not early voting, but there is absentee voting
No
on
early
this.
voting.
Oh, there is?
I believe so.
I think
That's
that-
what
I think
Yeah, you
we
can do that for the
discovered.
budget referendum, so. to
There's not
see-
early voting, but there is absentee voting.
Okay. Thought we didn't do
Get
that.
clarification from the clerk or the registrars, cause
Yeah.
I don't know that they can do absentee.
I don't think they can.
I think that's what,
Well,
we'll
we'll
check,
find
double
out.
I will
check.
let you
Either
know
way,
tomorrow.
I just know
the
there's no
answer I
early.
think is relevant to put on here
Okay.
as information for people to know.
That there's early voting?
No, there's
Oh,
no.
I mean, not early, absentee voting.
There is no absentee voting. You know what I mean? Just
Oh.
let people know, you gotta show up.
Okay,
Plan your trip around this.
okay. So I guess the question is, does anybody feel they want something on the back to explain how the 3.170,881, like we did, like I'm looking at my budget presentation from 25. And we also did that on the mailer, I'm pretty sure. We had it broken out, what all the money was and where it was coming from, so that people knew what the referendum question was. I don't have the budget mailer, it's probably here somewhere in a file. What it
On the-
looked like.
On the town budget website, so the budget mailer mailed out was double-sided, it's an 8.5 by 11, I believe, so it's a little bit more space to work with as well.
It feels like to me, if we do have the whole reverse side, and I don't know the difference in cost, if we're talking about giving the public information, sharing again for the voter, saying that there were, state funds, that there were donations received, that the town has already contributed this, and there's a shortfall of this amount. And in order for this project to proceed, we need to meet that shortfall. That's it. So there's not a lot of room on one side, maybe some of the stuff can go on the other and you can rework it or whatever, but it feels like it's gonna be really crowded on one side, it's gonna be lost on the backside.
Yeah, well, you can, and if to use both sides too, you can put the time and the date on both sides too, so that people you know, whichever side you're looking at, you have the date, but
Picture of a ballot box, town hall, I don't know,
Votes.
just some things, yeah, like the things that are gonna be, you
The
know,
graphics.
the iconography that you'd wanna, like, what am I looking at here?
Right, Saturday, January 24th.
This is a tax mailer or what is
Is
this?
anybody good in Canva in the office?
I was just gonna add to Kevin's statement is the other thing you could potentially add is any of the funds that are not spent will be returned back.
Yes,
Correct.
yes.
How much that
Oh.
coming back to this town? Okay.
I had that in my list to say that any,
I appreciate your optimism. That's cute.
What printer are you? Did you?
yeah,
Okay.
I think that would be a good thing to have too. The money
Only
being
just 'cause I know
returned,
some-
the
He does the-
detail
he
on
does
the
the
project that you
for
mentioned.
the budget.
Another reference to the time and date stamp, the
Just
Saturday.
as I know somebody who
It's
And,
not that clean though.
canvass
If we
works, that's what I
have
was asking, so.
overruns, then they wanna add back in the siding, they wanna add back in.
They're not. Who's gonna
No,
do
that was at the BOF, has to approve supplementals.
That's this board's decision.
Well, I wanna say something on that too. I sent an email earlier today because what you heard was that they have to approve any additions, right?
Right.
But if you read the resolution, it says that it's us
Us.
that determines the
Correct,
particulars.
they did not,
And
they did not correct that as the Board of
So
Finance.
so that's a question that maybe we, Mark, Finance, we all sit down and kind of confer on what's the next steps on that. Because this is what this says, it's up to us.
I did notice at the Board of Finance meeting when they had brought that up, but when they read the resolution, they did not correct it to
forgot?
include the
Yeah.
Board of Finance and it only
Okay.
included
And I
the Board of
left it
Select-
in, I wasn't
Right.
gonna.
That's outside of their purview. The
Correct.
Board of Finance, long-term, I agree with you, is that they're supposed to be looking at, can we afford this?
Correct.
And the other particulars are this board's responsibility.
Correct.
So that's again, I sent that question to Mark, to Bob, to Tom and Tom. I sent as much as I could out to everybody up to date, but this was an additional question I was waiting for an answer on. Just to see how that kind of, I hate that connects to what the Board of Finance is asking for. The other question I asked, just since we're talking about it, is it on here where it says the no, that's somewhere else. Where's the wording that says in kind? That was in that the when we're giving the money, yeah.
Attorney DiCrescenzo wrote an opinion that the value
Yes.
of the plans that were supplied by the Performing Arts Center is contributes to their cash donation to reach that $1,034,000 in donations.
Yeah, I didn't send that piece yet, did I?
But at a valuation of about 100,000, right now 128.
That went back and forth.
Let's just say 128, isn't it easier to say
Why?
one?
It's not fair because they spent 100,000, why should they get?
100,000, they have raised 934, so they're up to 1,034,000.
So my point on that was too, with the in-kind, we've done in-kind contributions too. So do we get credit for that
Well,
if,
you're the property owner, that's the reality.
okay, so
I think I've spoken out of my concerns on this, I'm not diminishing any of the concerns you're sharing, I'm just saying though, as far as like an exchange here, they're building on our lot.
okay, so let's get back to this. I'll see whatever kind of answer I get on that question and share it with everybody when I get an answer. So the motion, we need revisions to this, I guess is the question.
Yeah, so Kevin, you talked about a breakdown of the funds as currently the new amount, correct? Is what
Yeah,
you'd like to
it's
see?
just as why is there, or where's the shortfall
The
coming from?
town now contributes 1,238,000, the state grants are contributing 900,000, the PAC is contributing 1,032,888 or 881 is what you'd like to see?
I'm gonna send you what I had in my budget presentation from 25, which was in the referendum for that year.
23
And
or 24.
it was the
Yeah.
24-25
Yeah.
budget.
Yep, the
And
referendum
then-
May 2024.
And I think that's part of what we're talking about here to clarify the numbers. And then Kevin added a couple other things to that too. that
I've
were-
got we'll add a clarification on if there is absentee or not. Add a vote/ballot box in there. We added Saturday to the when, so people know it is a Saturday. I think that and then Kevin's comments on what to add is the breakdown.
And
I
if we
don't-
do back page.
Do we wanna
If we can do
see
that
this
page,
when
yeah.
it's done and approve it then?
I think they're gonna ask us to approve it,
I do,
don't they?
I wanna see the mathing.
Yeah, so
You
can
know
we,
what I mean?
can we,
Enough of this smoke screen.
yeah,
So let's go over what those numbers should be right now. If we did a,
Oh,
correct me if I'm wrong, we approved 2.7 million. And we ended up with a 388,000 shortfall. So we should show that that's increased cost that we're asking the residents to approve.
Well, it's also a factor of giving the PAC the in-kind ability. That's part of the reason for the shortfall.
So that in the
Because we thought it was a contribution they were making, and they're saying before we even started, we drew these plans up. And we spent $100,000 on these plans. So we want credit for that $100,000 because we did spend it on this project. But now somewhere where it's getting skewed, someone decides somewhere, I'll be honest, I don't understand it, where they should get a credit for $128,000, even though they only spent $100,000 there.
that was when they had 904 at
That's
the Board
me.
of Finance meeting, they confirmed they have 934.
932.
934,881.
932.
881.
Right, it's
932, 881.
Can we just show,
And then that difference was in the value engineering of the items out gets you the 1032881 is the plans, but also that makeup and actual cash on hand is from the value engineering out.
Are we going down to that level though, or is it just?
No, not on the
yeah,
mailing.
I
You are
think we
not.
just wanna show what's been paid for and what this is, and then a blurb about why this is, right?
I think that you mentioned the fire safety thing is an additional, unanticipated requirement, and this is how far away that the project is to completion. This board has already voted, and I shared where my concerns were the whole time.
Yeah.
But the reality is we're that much away, and the public should be aware of what that means. The total cost that's being spent, because they own that, but then also what this additional appropriation is gonna mean that they're gonna be asked to vote on. And I'll also say that I think that the PAC and other people who are either against or for this project will also be doing some of this communication. So we have a responsibility to communicate clearly to the voter, but we don't necessarily need to worry about advocating.
Right, and I do like, I think you mentioned it, Kevin, to include, or someone did, the piece that any remaining funding will come back to the town.
I think Tom brought that up.
Okay.
So
Give a-
the Board of Finance did make a motion for that. Like you said,
But
we'll
it's not-
put it in
Yeah, people
Put it in
don't
here.
know that.
if we can, and then
Okay.
Sure we can.
Any unspent funds will be returned to the town.
Okay.
Just like any other town project.
So what if we do this kind of conditionally, we say we're gonna approve this, but you're gonna send us the final version and ask to make, like with the rules of procedure, make sure that we think it looks the way we said it would look.
Sure.
Does that work?
Additional cost.
And the additional cost, okay? Alright, so I'm ask for a motion effective December 15th to approve and authorize issuance of a townwide mailer as discussed and updated for further, well, whatever. And then further move staff is authorized to make changes as recommended by the SEC or town attorney.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any other discussion? And Tom's gonna send it out to us in the draft mode and get feedback to make sure it's in line with what we all thought. If there's other issues, we can schedule a special meeting to review it. So on that, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Alright. Okay, still got a lot to go. What the heck? We got an executive session still. Okay, the next one, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You're not staying for the IT position?
Well, it's
I have a
executive
cupcake,
session,
do
we
you
know
know?
what we
They're not allowed to career change to IT, please.
You could say for the library
too good at their
community
current
span
job.
too. Okay,
Take a
take a
cupcake.
take a cupcake home,
Oh, you want, okay.
take one home.
Take more.
Or sit back down, one or the other.
Got the whole house full this week, so.
Okay,
There you
take
go.
a
Maybe you
couple.
need two.
Alright,
Look at that.
revise the information technology director job description. It feels like it's 10 o'clock.
Thanks, guys.
I know, it does. Thanks.
Okay, Tom.
So
Mike was leaving.
So this item is coming before you because we are having a upcoming retirement in our IT director position in the mid to late January range. So Mr. Rosano, as many people throughout town know him, he's been with the town for over 35 years. He will be sorely missed, but as part of that, we have worked on some revisions to the IT job description, IT director job description. Some of them include updating in our new format, which you'll see through as we go through that 110 job descriptions we have in town to update. One thing to note is that in the last round of negotiations with the union that this position was in, or currently is in, we did add if the incumbent in the IT director position retires, that position would move to unaffiliated. So that is noted in this job description at the top in the affiliation status box. It would remain full-time, it would remain exempt. It went to personnel sub on December 11th. There are some slight modifications that we had worked on, including certification of making sure that it was government focused, but also there is the private side certifications industry equivalent. And I tried to capture that, so hopefully I did. And that a lot of it is similar to the current job description. We recently updated a couple of years ago with the title. It used to be called data processing manager. We updated to IT director, and it had some updates then. So it wasn't a total overhaul. And in the cover memo you have where our anticipated kind of range would be for posting in that 120 to 150 range. It should be noted that we had currently budgeted about 147,000 for the person there at the top step, so that was the max that we budgeted. It came in under in our negotiations to a kind of 143, so we have savings in this current budget. If we need to go up to that range, it'll be flexible when we're posting an unaffiliated position.
When do you plan to post this?
Ideally, if this is approved, job description is approved, we will be posting in the next couple days.
Okay.
When is Rick retiring? January 1?
Not January, and to middle of January. Okay. Somewhere in there.
Any questions from anybody? Non-personnel people or personnel people too?
Yeah, it just seems like we're always increasing our payroll every chance. It's just,
So I
understand.
asked for some changes onto this before, and I just wanted to clarify where I was hoping to have them. So I asked for the CISSP on there.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't think that necessarily has to be a requirement for the job, but I do think that it's a relevant equivalent for the CGCIO. And then there might be other certifications on here that we might wanna list, other CompTIA or IC squared certifications that are relevant, Network Plus and Security Plus. That's sort of what I was getting at before.
Okay.
So if we wanna leave it listed separately and others, HR or whatever, are happy with that being on there, I would say that that's a preferred, but not necessarily a requirement. It is a high in demand one, and that's also one of the ones where people have an expectation of compensation, which I think we're delivering, but that's a reality. So I'd leave that in the list of the preferred though. And I just want us to be aware of those specialized requirements that we would want in an IT professional today that include some of those outside trainings and certifications, even the Microsoft ones that are relevant since we're a 365 or would be a 365 organization. That's all for me.
I have one small nuance.
Okay.
As personnel, we added the verbiage is preferred. I think we should make that the last item because ability to pass background standards is required. So the only one that's actually optional, like is preferred, I think should be the last item in that section
Okay.
instead of just
Why don't you put
between
it
two.
under the driver's license, cause they kind
Shut
of
up.
go together. No, I'm being
No, that's
serious.
my stickler is the license.
But would
Okay.
it, because
Yeah, no,
the
no,
rest
no.
is all technical stuff, so why not put the big, you have to have a driver's license and pass a background check before you get
I'm
into
fine
your,
with that. Tom, you got that?
Will do.
right? 'Cause if you don't do those, nobody cares about your CJIS.
E-I-E-I-O.
The alphabet soup.
And
Okay.
those special requirements should be or comparable. They're gonna change.
Right.
Over 5 years, whatever the standards are or something else.
We could, well, Kevin kind of tried to.
Yeah, that was the industry
Yeah.
equivalent.
Okay. Didn't
Okay.
understand that, that makes sense.
Okay, so ask for a motion effective December 15th to approve the proposed revisions as discussed tonight to the information technology job description.
So moved.
Second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Okay, library. Yeah, okay, so the library,
Page 11.
I have it over here somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want mine?
No, I got it. I didn't put my little tabs on today. I usually do, so I could,
I know.
I like working off of paper for this, except for all the detail. So Tom, gonna turn it over to you.
Okay, so this is a library quick grant for the spring of 2026. So our library, through various departments, they're working on programming through all three division heads, so adult, teen, children's, to work on programs for their theme, which is One Town, One Book, and the Backyard Bird Chronicles by Amy Tan. So the grant submission is coming up in January 5th, which is why it's on your agenda tonight, with an award announcement in early February. It is a 50-50 match, so $2,017 in grant funding from the Connecticut Humanities, and then the $2,017 match would come from the Friends of Simsbury Public Library, Simsbury Senior Center, and the Gardeners of Simsbury, providing the town portion of the match. Wendy, if you would let, can start going through the questions you had.
Sure. You wanna take them?
Sure. So you had asked if this project, if the library's gonna ask for funding, if they would ask for this funding regardless of the grant. The library said no. The library is using these grant funds to leverage other funding already available to give kind of this project or this program. So it's an added program through the grant. And that, are there any project the library is going to ask the budget that this grant could be used for rather than a new project? And the answer to that was no. There are no other program project the library will be asking for funds to support. It is a program grant they're using to leverage kind of other available funds, which are those Friends of the Library, Senior Center, and the Gardeners of Simsbury funding. There are staff working on it. So the department heads from the adult, teen, and children's programs will plan programs around the theme. That's part of the regular coursework where they plan programs, but it will fit the theme of this grant for this time period. And then other staff will be engaged in the marketing and the promotion, which they do for current library programs as well. And then the you asked if there's gonna be ongoing costs to the grant.
Yes, I did.
So there won't be, once the program has ended, this grant will be done and these programs the programs will be done, so there won't be ongoing costs for this program. They'll move on to others in their queue.
Thanks for answering all those. Anybody else have questions? No? Okay. So let's ask for motion effective December 15th to authorize Tom Fitzgerald. Are you gonna be here, Tom, or is it the town meeting?
I think we are looking to submit this sooner than later, so for the first one, yes, for the further move, potentially, I
Just say
would do
town
more.
manager.
Yes.
Okay, move effective to authorize Tom Fitzgerald, acting town manager, to apply for a Connecticut Humanities Quick Grant in the amount of $4,034 to fund a One Book, One Town program series. If it's awarded, further move to accept the grant and authorize the town manager to execute all documents related to the grant award, and finally move to appropriate the grant funds and recommend said appropriation to the Board of Finance.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And one thing, I'm just gonna add a little anecdote here, that the reports that go to the Board of Finance, they report on all the grants that have been approved and they include this, and my goal is to make sure I share all the BOF agendas with everybody, because there's a lot of good financial information there that we should have too. Anyway, and that's one of them. Okay, so I think we're at the executive.
We have to approve minutes.
Minutes and the overpayment.
Oh, well, wouldn't it be part of the, oh, we have to wait till the end. I was thinking it was part of the action. Okay, I'll ask for a motion to approve the minutes for December 1st, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Anybody have any corrections to the minutes? No?
Close enough.
Okay. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Okay.
Did you like the numbers on the side?
Yes,
Okay.
I noticed them. Thank
I
you.
saw them too, but I didn't.
And the page numbers, it's really a wonderful
It made perfect sense to me,
packet.
I didn't know you did away with them for.
I know, I didn't realize that
I still want
either.
them to say draft, but nobody cares about that, so.
Kevin, nobody cares about that.
Okay, so now we added, asked for a motion to move into executive session.
Wait a minute, Wendy, I think we've got to approve the tax overpayment.
Oh, no, we
put
did that for
to
consent.
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 We did.
Gotta get into the consent hand.
And the appointments and
We
resignation
didn't do that
was
before.
consent.
No, fine. Move along, move along.
Okay,
Nothing
so
to see.
a motion to move to executive session pursuant to CGS 1-206B for the purpose of discussing pending litigation with attorney Mike Harrington and Tom Fitzgerald acting I was gonna say first selectman, acting town manager and the board.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we're in executive session.
I too.
Hey, I was just open the door and open the
Okay,
door.
I didn't know if you were running away.
No, just, you guys.
Okay, and this will be included, added to the packet.
It'll be added first thing in the morning.
So the public will be able to
Yep.
see what was what we covered in executive session and the
Now
result.
it's public.
No, it's public.
Oh, yeah, so it's all here. So a motion, ask for a motion effective December 15th, 2025 to approve the full and final settlement agreement for Betty Fisher versus the town of Simsbury as presented and authorize acting town manager. Are you gonna be here? Is this gonna happen
Yeah, this
right
will
away?
be tomorrow.
Acting town manager Tom Fitzgerald to process the settlement payment.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Dare I say, I can ask for a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Without objection.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, good job, good year.
Thank you, Mike.
Year's coming, bye.
For over 40 years, SCM has been the voice of our town.
Bringing us together through local programming,
Education and live broadcasts.
SEM isn't just about television.
It's about empowering our community.
Ensuring our voices are heard during government meetings.
And celebrating milestones.
like our high school graduations.
But today, SEM faces a challenge.
Our funding structure is based on television subscriptions. And it's no secret, people have been cutting the cord.
With a shift to internet-only subscriptions,
SEM receives less revenue.
Even though all our programming is freely available online.
We need your support.
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 Your donation can make a difference.
It will ensure that SCM remains open.
Continues to educate our youth and keeps our community informed.
Thanks to SEM, I've been honing my creative skills, helping me work towards my college degree.
SCM is crucial for keeping our community connected.
SCM isn't just here to broadcast local events. They're actually preserving Simsbury's history.
Join us in preserving Simsbury's voice.
Simsbury's voice.
Together we can ensure that SCM continues to thrive
For generations to come.
Visit our website
Or scan the QR code on your screen to make your donation.
Every contribution
counts.
Thank you for supporting Simsbury Community Media.
where your town
Your schools
And your government come together.